You know what's funny? A woman never truly misses a man when he's still available to her. She only starts missing him when she realizes he's not waiting anymore. And that's the moment everything inside her starts to unravel. See, at first she doesn't even notice what she's losing. She's too focused on her emotions, her independence, her pride. She convinces herself that walking away or treating you like an option means she's in control. She tells herself you'll still be there if she changes her mind. She believes that the same man who once chased her, called her, worried about her, will always remain within reach. But when that man goes silent, not out of anger, but out of peace, something inside her starts to break. That silence becomes the loudest sound she's ever heard, because it forces her to face a reality she never prepared for. You've stopped chasing her. You've stopped trying to make her understand your worth. You've stopped trying to prove your loyalty. And for the first time, she feels the void that your presence used to fill. At first, she tries to act unbothered. She posts, she smiles, she laughs with her friends, maybe even goes out just to prove a point. But when she's alone, the silence hits differently. Her mind starts to replay the moments she overlooked, the messages she ignored, the times she could have said something kind, but chose to be cold. And then comes the guilt, the sudden wave of, what if? What if he's moved on? What if he's happier without me? What if I was the reason he stopped believing in love? You see, when a woman takes a good man for granted, she's not expecting him to truly detach. She expects him to always orbit her world, to always be available for her validation. But when he finally learns to value his peace more than her approval, the shift is irreversible. And that's when she begins to miss him, not just the attention, but the man, the way he made her feel safe, the way he believed in her, even when she doubted herself, the way he looked at her like she was enough. Women rarely realize in the moment how rare that kind of energy is, because genuine men, the ones who give love without manipulation, are hard to find. When she loses that, she doesn't just lose a boyfriend or a partner. She loses her emotional mirror, the man who once reflected her best self back to her. And when that reflection disappears, she starts to see the cracks in her own choices, the things she did out of ego, pride, or fear. It haunts her because deep down she knows she had something real, and she let it slip away thinking it would always come back. But it doesn't. Not when a man has grown from his pain. Not when he's realized that chasing love at the cost of self-respect is not strength, it's self-betrayal. So if you've ever been that man, the one who gave his best and still got treated like he wasn't enough, remember this: her silence now isn't peace, it's realization. It's the beginning of the regret she swore she'd never feel. Because one day, when she sees you happy, grounded, and untouchable, she'll finally understand what she lost, and she'll wish, more than anything, that she had valued you when you were still hers. But by then, it'll be too late. There's a shift that happens inside a woman when she realizes the man she once overlooked no longer needs her. It's subtle at first, almost invisible, but it grows quietly, like a storm building beneath calm skies. She starts noticing the difference, not in you, but in herself. The peace you once gave her is gone. The emotional safety she used to feel just from hearing your voice, it's missing. And the most confusing part for her? You didn't do anything dramatic. You didn't beg, you didn't argue, you didn't try to win her back. You simply detached with quiet confidence. That silence, that calm indifference, it shakes her. Because a woman's attachment to a man isn't built on how much he pleads for her attention, it's built on how deeply she feels his absence when he's gone. When you stop reacting, she's forced to face the reflection of her own behavior. Every time she tries to provoke a reaction and gets nothing but your composure, she feels that loss deeper. Because now, she's realizing something she never expected. She's no longer in control of the emotional narrative. The man she thought would never move on, did. The man she thought couldn't live without her is living better than ever. And suddenly, the power dynamic she built on emotional dominance collapses. You see, the moment she feels that your peace is no longer tied to her approval, everything changes. She begins to remember the little things you did, the thoughtful messages, the late-night talks, the way you'd notice her mood before she even spoke. Those memories return, not as comfort, but as reminders of what she lost. And that's when she starts to miss you in layers. At first, she misses the validation, then she misses the comfort, but soon after, she misses you, the way you understood her without words, the way your presence softened her defenses, the way your energy felt stable when everything else in her life was chaotic. But by now, you've evolved. You've built boundaries. You're no longer chasing, explaining, or overgiving, and that's what draws her back even harder, because women are magnetically pulled toward strength they can't control. Here's the truth most men never realize. When you stop seeking her attention and start respecting your absence, you become the man she can't forget. Not because of games, not because of manipulation, but because emotional stability in a man is power. When a woman senses that power, she replays everything. She starts questioning her decisions, her pride, her silence. She wonders why she pushed away the one man who actually saw her. And the irony? The more she tries to replace that feeling with someone new, the more she's reminded of what she lost. Because no one loves her with the same intensity. No one listens with the same patience. No one matches the quiet fire you carried in your eyes when you cared. That's what she'll miss. Not the texts, not the gestures, but the energy, the presence of a man who was genuine, grounded, and rare. And when she sees you walking away, not angry, not bitter, but at peace, she feels something she can't explain, respect mixed with regret. That's when she starts overanalyzing. She'll check your profile, your stories, your updates. She'll wonder if that smile means someone new has your attention. She'll start to reach out indirectly, testing your reaction. But deep down, she knows it's not about getting you back. It's about trying to feel that emotional connection again, the one she didn't value when it was freely given. And this is where the tables turn, because now she's chasing clarity from a man who has already found it. That's when she starts missing you, not as the man she left, but as the man she'll never find again. There comes a moment when she stops pretending, when the laughter in her posts feels forced, when the nights start to feel longer, and when every song, every memory, every scent seems to whisper your name. That's when the truth hits her. She didn't just lose a man, she lost her anchor. See, at first, she thought freedom would feel empowering. She thought distancing herself, ignoring your messages, or taking you for granted would make her feel stronger. But what she never expected was how empty freedom feels when it's no longer being supported by your presence, because you weren't just another man in her life. You were the quiet structure behind her chaos, the one who grounded her emotions when she didn't even understand them herself, the one who looked at her flaws and didn't flinch. And now that kind of energy is gone. At first, she tries to fill the void. She distracts herself, maybe dates someone new, maybe surrounds herself with noise and people. But nothing fits. Nothing feels right. Because when a woman experiences a man with depth, she can't unsee it. Every shallow conversation that follows becomes a reminder of what she lost. Every emotionally unavailable man reminds her of the one who actually cared. She scrolls through old messages late at night, rereading words that once felt ordinary but now feel irreplaceable. She replays your voice in her mind. She remembers the tone you used when you said her name, the way you could sense her mood through text. And suddenly, she realizes those small things she ignored were everything. But the worst part? She can't undo it. She can't just walk back into your life and find you waiting like before, because the version of you she knew no longer exists. You've grown, you've healed, you've learned to love yourself the way you used to love her. And that's what truly breaks her, because deep down, she knows you were willing to give her the world, until she made you realize you were never meant to lose yourself in trying to save her. Now she's haunted by contrast. The man who once wanted her so deeply has become the man who no longer needs her at all. The attention she used to take for granted has turned into silence. The love that once poured freely from you has turned into calm detachment. She might try to test the waters, sending a hey or a nostalgic emoji just to see if you'll respond the same way. But you don't. Not because you hate her, but because you found peace in letting go. That's when she feels the full weight of regret. Not the kind that fades after a few days, but the kind that lingers. The kind that creeps into her thoughts when she's alone. The kind that makes her wonder if she'll ever find that same connection again. And the truth? She won't. Because you were never ordinary. You were the lesson. The mirror that forced her to confront her emotional immaturity, her pride, and her inability to recognize real love when it stood in front of her. She misses not just you, but the version of herself she became when she was with you. The softer, more feminine, more vulnerable version that only existed in your presence. You brought that side out of her, and now, without you, she doesn't know how to access it again. That's why missing you becomes more than nostalgia. It becomes a haunting. Every good memory turns bittersweet. Every new face reminds her of what she ruined. And as much as she tries to move on, a part of her knows the truth. She'll never find another man like you. Because once a woman experiences a man who is emotionally grounded, loyal, and unshakably calm, every other man feels like noise. And that's when she truly starts to miss you. Not because you're gone, but because you're finally at peace without her. Eventually, the silence becomes unbearable for her. It's not that she hasn't been in silence before, but this one feels different. Because this silence doesn't mean you're waiting, it means you've moved on. And that truth cuts deeper than any argument ever could. She starts convincing herself she just wants closure, that she needs to understand what happened, that maybe you two can talk, just one last time. But closure isn't what she's after. What she really wants is reassurance. She wants to know that somewhere inside you, there's still a piece of the man who used to love her unconditionally. So she'll reach out carefully. Maybe a random message, something like, "Hey, I just saw something that reminded me of you." She'll disguise it as casual, but every word she sends carries unspoken meaning. She's testing the waters, hoping for warmth, for familiarity. But when she gets your calm, detached reply, or worse, your silence, it sends her spiraling. Because now she realizes what you once felt for her has been replaced by peace. And peace is something she can't compete with. It's in this stage that her mind becomes her own worst enemy. She replays every moment she took for granted, every time she dismissed your effort, every look you gave her that she brushed off. She begins to see it all differently now, because she's finally viewing it through your eyes. The psychology behind this is simple but cruel. People don't miss what they lose. They miss what they didn't value when they had it. When a woman realizes she had real love and threw it away, the guilt becomes emotional gravity. It pulls her back even when she doesn't want it to. She'll try to fill the gap. Maybe she'll talk to friends, maybe even date someone new, but no matter what she does, something always feels off. Because none of it feels authentic. It all feels like a performance. And then one night, while scrolling through your social media, she sees something that stops her heart. Maybe it's a photo of you smiling again. Maybe you're traveling. Or maybe she notices you've started to look happier. But in that single moment, it hits her like a wave. You're no longer the same man who needed her. That's when her emotions shift from curiosity to longing, to panic, because she knows deep down, once a man reaches peace, he doesn't go back. You've become what every woman ultimately respects, but few get to experience. A man who knows his worth. A man who no longer gives his energy to someone who mishandled it. A man who doesn't need closure because he created his own by walking away with dignity. And that kind of strength, it haunts her. Because women are drawn not to perfection, but to emotional strength. To the quiet confidence of a man who doesn't beg for love, yet still carries it in his heart. She'll remember how you made her feel safe enough to be herself. She'll remember your patience when she pushed you away. She'll remember how you stayed when others would have left. And then she'll remember how she made you question your worth. That's when she starts rewriting the story in her mind. She starts telling herself, maybe he still cares. Maybe he's just trying to protect himself. But deep down, she knows it's over. Because for the first time, you're protecting yourself. And that realization will follow her into her quiet moments, into her future relationships. Because the hardest truth she'll ever face is this, The man who once gave her everything finally gave himself permission to stop trying. You didn't leave to make her miss you. You left to finally respect yourself. And ironically, that's what made her miss you the most. And then, the breaking point comes. It's not dramatic. It doesn't happen in front of anyone. It happens in silence, alone, late at night, when her mind won't stop replaying everything. The moments you were kind, the times you stayed when you shouldn't have, the words you said that she never truly listened to. That's when she finally breaks, because the truth she's been avoiding finally hits her in full. You're gone, and you're not coming back. There's no anger left to hide behind, no excuses, no maybe someday. Just the hollow ache of realizing she was loved by a man who would have given her everything, and she pushed him away, thinking he'd always return. She'll cry, but not the kind of tears that come from sadness alone. It's grief mixed with regret, the kind that shakes your soul because you finally understand what you destroyed. And she'll whisper to herself, "He really loved me." Not in the shallow, temporary way most men do, but in that rare, genuine way that few ever experience. And the pain cuts deeper because she knows she can't rebuild that. You see, once a man evolves from heartbreak, once he transforms pain into wisdom, he becomes untouchable, not because he's cold, but because he's awake. You've learned to see the difference between love that grows you and love that drains you. You've learned that chasing someone's potential while ignoring their actions is the quickest way to lose yourself. And now you walk differently. You move with peace. You speak with intention. You no longer explain yourself to those who never tried to understand you. That version of you, the healed one, is the version she never thought she'd see. The one who no longer texts when he's lonely. The one who no longer waits for closure. The one who no longer tries to convince anyone of his worth. And that's what she'll miss the most. Not the man you were when you loved her, but the man you became after she lost you. She'll scroll through your photos, seeing the confidence in your smile, the calm in your eyes, and she'll feel that familiar sting in her chest. Not because you've moved on to someone else, but because she knows she'll never get another chance to know this version of you. And if you ever cross her mind years later, which you will, it won't be with bitterness. It'll be with that quiet sadness of knowing she once had something pure and she let it slip through her fingers because she didn't understand its value at the time. She'll try to forget. She'll tell herself it wasn't that deep. But no matter what she does, there will always be moments when she's alone or when another man disappoints her, when she'll think of you, not because she wants you back, but because she finally realizes you were the one who truly saw her. But by then, you'll be somewhere else. Maybe with someone who values your silence, your loyalty, your depth. Someone who understands that love isn't about control, it's about respect. And she'll watch quietly, pretending to be happy for you. But inside, she'll feel that sharp ache of what if, because deep down, she knows she could have been the one standing next to you, if only she had loved you when you were still reaching out. That's how women start missing the man they took for granted. Not all at once, but in waves. Regret doesn't arrive with a warning. It creeps in when the world finally goes quiet. And once it does, she'll realize that losing you wasn't just losing a relationship. It was losing the version of herself that only existed when she was loved by a real man. So if you're listening to this right now, remember, your absence is your power. Never beg someone to see your value. The right woman won't need reminding. Question for you. When she finally realized what she lost, did she try to come back or did you stay silent and move forward? Drop your answer in the comments. Like this video if it hit deep, subscribe for more raw truths about female psychology, and share this with a man who needs to hear it today.